Welcome back to the course, Privacy and Security in Online Social Media. This is week 1 and part 2. I hope you enjoyed the week 1, part 1 lectures. If you have any questions, if you have any reactions for the content, please feel free to email on the mailing list, and we'll be happy to actually answer your questions, take the discussion forward. And I also hope that the content that we are seeing in the class, at least week 1, kind of got you motivated enough to see things as you do use these platforms, as you see others use these platforms also. So what we'll see today, we are part 2. This is going to be a slightly longer lecture in terms of knowing all these social media platforms. What is social network analysis? What kinds of different networks are there? I'm sure you know many of them. I'm also guessing that many of you will have accounts in many of these platforms. But to make the content complete and to actually use the content later in the course to make references to these content, I'm going to keep it as part of this lecture. What is social networks, right? What is social media is what we are going to see, and we will walk you through different types of platforms, why these platforms are more popular, what are the kinds of things each of these platforms have. And please also keep in mind that interchangeably this word of social media and social networks are used here. Right, so you can feel free to replace social media and social networks wherever appropriate. Social media, right? Computer-based technology that facilitates the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and information through building of virtual networks and communities. Again, I put all of this just to help you get a sense of formal understanding of what these words are, but otherwise you probably know more than me in terms of some of these platforms that we are going to talk about also. Different types of social media services cater to different needs and accommodate various types of content. We'll see networks which are professional, networks which are very image-based, networks which are very text-based, networks which are sort of say private, anonymous. So different types of platforms have been becoming very popular these days. Some have overlapping features, of course, right? If you see like in Twitter, probably it's the same like as you see it in Facebook. Now LinkedIn also has something like a like. So all of these platforms use some constructs which are very same. Right. So this is just to give you a sense of what is going on in terms of the use of internet, use of these platforms. I've taken data from 2020, 2021, and the next slide will show you 2022. Just to give you a sense of how big we are talking about, right? If you just think about the course that I started teaching, PSOSM, about I think 2010, 2011 probably. If you look at the conference that we did in sometime in 2011, there was the usage of these platforms were there. Some of these platforms are very popular, of course, right? The platforms also, I'm sure you yourself would have moved from platform to platform. For example, many of you taking this class would have been using Facebook very popularly at some point in time, whereas currently you may be more active on Insta. If you're of the older generation, probably there are people who have used Orkut at some point in time, but you don't use Orkut right now. Similarly for Google Plus versus Facebook, right? All of these platforms are, people have moved from platform to platform. So if you look at, for example, this, right? If you look at Netflix, in 2020, about 764,000 hours have been watched. Whereas in 2021, 28,000 subscribers. So it's just growing, right? This, and just to give you a context, this is just what internet is for 60 seconds. If you look at what is happening in 1 minute of on the internet, this is what is happening. For example, 1.4 million scrolls are happening on Facebook. 695,000 stories are posted on Insta, right? I'll let you go through each one of them, but the idea for me to keep this is to show you the magnitude of the content this social platforms are generating. And what's happening in 2021, same numbers have increased. Numbers have probably, for some platforms, it's become phenomenally high. Some platforms have gone away. But the idea of users across the world using these platforms and making connections and doing things whatever they want to do is going to stay, right? So platforms like Snapchat, YouTube, Tinder. I'm guessing that many of you listening to this video have a Tinder account, right? So number of swipes on Tinder is also increasing day by day. So that's the idea, just to give you a magnitude of what's going on the internet for a minute. Let's just look at a little bit more statistics of the networks, and then we'll go to networks itself. This is per minute usage. Just to give you a comparison, what this comparison is doing is it is doing 2013 versus 2022. Let me walk you through how to read the graph. The x-axis, the different platforms are kept, different activities are kept. For example, Google, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and emails are kept on the x-axis. X-axis also has the year 2013 and 2022, to give a comparison of how it has changed in the last 9 years. And on the y-axis, it is the number of millions of activities, whatever that is. Google user queries was about 2 million in 2013. Today, it is about 5.9 million. YouTube, again, 48 versus 500 hours of uploaded videos. Insta photos, 3.6K, right, in 2013. Today, it is about 66,000 posts, right? So I think the idea is that for us, for users, that all of us, for example, I probably have, I do all of this. If you look at x-axis, the platforms that is mentioned here, I use Google, I use YouTube, I use Insta, Twitter, Facebook, and emails. So we all contribute to this phenomenal increase of content that is happening in these platforms. Twitter, again, 2013 was 100,000 posts. Tweets shared, today it is about 347,000 posts per minute again. Content share, 684,000, 1.7 million. Facebook is probably having a little bit of a lesser number of people are using actually Facebook. Anytime earlier, when I used to give talks to large audience, when I say how many people use Facebook, the maximum number of people will be on Facebook. The next probably will be on LinkedIn, and then next probably will be on Twitter. Whereas today, if you see, probably Insta overshadows all of them. It also may be the effect of the people that I'm giving the talk to. All right, so this is overview of social media use. This is more like relatively what is happening in the world. Number of social media users across the world is 4.74 billion. Keeping the context of number of people who have internet access, quarter on quarter change in social media users. This is October 2022, so 0.7% increased from the last quarter to this quarter. Again, year on year change in social media users, 4.2 million, 4.2% increase. Number of hours have increased. Everything is increasing, right? If you just look at this graph. Number of hours that is being used, number of users getting onto this platform, number of new users getting onto this platform, number of old users creating more content, everything is increasing. This slide is to give you only the comparison of the same month across different years from 2012 to 2022. Jan of every year, what is the social media users over time. Right. So this is one graph. This is slightly an older graph, but there is a lot of important, at least one very interesting inference from this graph. So this graph becomes very relevant and important also. So if you look at, so let me again help you read the graph, which is On the x-axis, there is time. January 07, September 07, December 07, snapshot of every month. The y-axis is millions of minutes used on those platforms. Okay. And then there are 3 different lines and 3 different, sort of say, platforms. So let's go from Google. Right. Why do we use Google? If you just think about the reasons for Google becoming more and more popular, if you want to know something, you go to Google. Right? I want to know, I want to read about privacy and security in online social media. I want to look at bio of PK. I'm looking for IIT Madras website. Right? You're looking for something, you go to Google. And I'm looking for IIT Madras's BS programs requirements. Right? That's what you use Google mostly for. And the next one, Yahoo sites, at least that's why I said the slightly older graph, which is August 2010. If you look at the end point in the right, it's August 2010. Yahoo sites also was very popular at that point in time, where people were using Yahoo sites to go look for, so to say, news around us, right? Yahoo was very popular at some point in time for news. If you want to know news generated on the internet, Yahoo was probably one of the popular websites to get the news from. That's Yahoo. Facebook at that time, even today, probably is primarily used for getting to know what my friends are doing. Right? That's Facebook. Getting to know what my friends are doing, and second, sharing what I'm doing to my friends. These are probably 2 important reasons why Facebook was very popular, why social network itself is very popular, which is one being why what others are doing. Two being sharing what I do. For these 2 reasons, I think that social media is just going to stay. Social networks are just going to stay. All right. So therefore, if you look at the graph, interestingly, till about January 2010, or probably even June, July 2010, people were more interested in wanting to know what information about some topics, which is Google was popular. If you look at here, that's the point I'm referring to. And then Yahoo sites also was very popular at that point in time, because people were interested probably in knowing what is happening around me. One is about a topic that I want to know. One is about what's happening around me or what's happening in the world, whatever, right? In August 2010, interestingly, Facebook took over both of this. So another way to interpret this is that, look, I think people started being more curious about what my friends are doing and what I want to share with them, instead of looking for new information or instead of what is happening around me. That's one interpretation, right? The way to, other ways to look for also is that probably Facebook started adding features where you could actually get search information and get it, like as you do in Google also. Possibly that's also another reason to interpret. But one reason to this graph is very important is that users have started becoming more and more interested in what is going on with their friends and sharing what they're doing with their friends. And I think that one line probably captures what all of us do on Insta also, right? Why are we so much hooked onto Insta is probably because of that. This again, a slightly older incident, but this is actually very, very relevant information for us in this course, is that some of you may know this is an aeroplane that got landed in Hudson River, and there was also a movie on it, a Tom Hanks movie. where they showed what happened during this incident. But what is relevant to us as part of this course is that this tweet that was posted, there's a plane in Hudson, I am on the ferry going to pick up the people crazy. Right. So this tweet became extremely popular. The J.K. Ram's handle also became very popular because this was the first time. So until this time, until 2009 when this incident happened, Twitter was generally used for sharing about what am I doing in my day. I'm having coffee with my friend. I'm meeting my colleague. I'm visiting this place. Those kind of things were the content that was generally generated on Twitter. This was the first time ever where a problem occurred and somebody is posting it on Twitter to say that, look, I'm trying to solve the problem. So to say, right, crisis management, if you were to use a broader word for it. This is 2009. I'm sure today, I mean, this is really old, right? Because you all know many incidences happen on Twitter, events happen, people talk about in Twitter. Twitter platform is used to create an event. All of this has happened in the last 13 years, where we have seen these platforms play a huge role. Moving on to understand about social media, social networks itself. If you see this slide and the next slide also is slightly dense, but the idea for me to have these two images is to show that, so we understand some aspects of social media. For example, if you just look at it, right, this part is probably something that when we say social media, generally we think of it as social networks, which I also said earlier that replace the word if you want. But if you look at social media, right, there's a lot of other things that you can actually put it as part of social media also. One popular example that I have is Wikipedia, right, where people are creating content together, content is generated on Wikipedia, I create content, some moderator actually comes and edits it. So some kind of a network is actually created among the users and among the moderators and everything. So there is also social games, right? Social games are also extremely popular. Thanks to COVID again, these online games and social games have become extremely popular. So social media encompasses all of these things, right? So this one, again, giving you a sense of various different types of social media, publishing, networking, sharing, messaging, discussing, collaborating. There's all of this. So wherever there's kind of a users coming together to do something, wherever there you can think of as a network. So network as in something like this, nodes as users. We can see more formal things, what is a node, what is an edge, all that later. But for now, let's take this is you, and these are your friends. This is your friend, another's friend A, and he has a friend B, right? Things like that. And this edge need not be only friends. It could be that we watching the movie, right? Edges seems to be watching the movie together, watching now football together, right? You can make the edge to be anything. For example, liking a post. Right? Yeah. This slide is only on social networks. What I wanted to show is that in this slide is to see different types of content is getting generated in different platforms. So if you were to use the atomic content to, let's take what is the smallest content that you want to use YouTube or to create, that can be created on YouTube is a video, right? You can't do anything other than without a video on YouTube. You can't say that, look, I want to upload an image, so can I do it on YouTube, right? So that's the way if you were to look at it, right? Facebook has everything. This is video, this is video, this is images, this is text, right? All of these platforms have become very popular. Some of them you may not know, so please go look them up. We'll also look at some of the platforms later. For example, Koo is one of the platform that is used for regional languages in India, like a Twitter. TikTok, you may know. Whisper is a private anonymous network. Tinder, I said already, which is a dating app. ShareChat is again a platform which is more for regional languages. Chingari, ShareChat, Koo, they are all very Moj. They are all very Indian-based social networks built for Indian users. Koo more recently has also started getting into Brazilian market. But Bumble, Foursquare is a location-based. Bumble is again a place where you can upload video. This is becoming more and more popular thanks to Twitter, Mastodon, which is basically a platform which is like Twitter, but it is decentralized, right? Trying to create a network where it is like the servers of the platforms are actually decentralized, right? Reddit, LinkedIn, Quora is questions, LinkedIn is professional, Reddit again is more like a pseudonymous network. Be Real, again, these are platforms which are getting more popular more recently, which are platforms for create a network within 2 minutes, and it also uses, I think, the cameras, both the cameras in your phone, front and back together to create a video and uploads it within the 2 minutes that you actually start saying that I want to create this video. A Blind is again more so a professional network where people talk about, you need to have official email address to get onto these platforms. For example, if I want to get onto this platform, I need to use my IIIT Hyderabad account to get onto this platform. It's also anonymous, but they generally talk about jobs on these platforms. How is the work culture? What is the salary? What are the perks? All of that gets discussed on Blind. That doesn't get discussed on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is more for, I'm looking for job, this happened, I got promoted, I got the certificate. That's what you use LinkedIn for, whereas Blind is more for sort of say internal discussions about your company that you work for, and that's what gets shared. So Vine used to be a short video platform which you can actually take a really short video and post it. That was Vine. Pinterest again is a platform like Flickr, which is based on images, which is like Insta also, but it has this idea of whiteboard, all that. I think I covered all the platform that is mentioned here. If you have any questions about these platforms, again, please feel free to post it. But these are, again, the idea for me to talk about these platforms is just to tell you the smallest information in each of it is very different. Right? Blind is about companies' details where you're working. Right? Quora is a question. You can't say that, look, I want to upload an image like what I do on Insta on Quora. Right? Snapchat is again a picture or a video, right? That's Snapchat. So Insta, you all know Insta, so right. So that's what the space is. I'm sure some of it is something that you're hearing for the first time. If you don't know, go look it up. For example, Tumblr is a platform which is based on blog. Right? You write a blog, and then it's like a medium. It's like a precursor for medium that we know today. Okay, hope that gives you a sense of what the spectrum is. Okay, so here is another idea called 4 V's of social media, which is, if you can pause the video and think about it, what the 4 V's will be, that'll be great. But this is about volume, right? Yeah. So the idea is volume, veracity, variety, and velocity. So the volume we have already discussed, right? The magnitude of these posts are increasing every single time, every single platform. Veracity is the is the truthfulness of the content that is getting generated on these platforms. It's actually extremely hard to find whether these content that is getting generated is actually true or false. I mean, basic problem of fake news in that sense. Variety, this slide actually should convince you that there's a variety of content that can be generated on these platforms. Velocity. Velocity gives you a understanding of the speed in which the content is getting generated, right? If you go back to the what was 1 minute internet is, the amount of content that is getting generated per minute is actually increasing per day. For example, YouTube videos that are uploaded, this is like exploding, right? It's hundreds of hours per minute is getting uploaded these days. So the 4 V's. I think there's also sometimes 5th V that is discussed, which is called value. What value are you generating or can you generate from these platforms, which is the 5th V. So therefore, volume, veracity, variety, velocity, and value. So now let's continue looking at different social media platforms. From now on, I think I've set it up like a one slide per platform, and then just talk about a little bit about that platform and move on. Given that I've already said some things about these platforms, we can actually quickly zip through them also. Facebook is probably a network that has maximum number of users even now, but it's kind of a platform where you can do many things: upload an image, upload a video, share your location, right? All of this features that has been, for example, the idea called location-based social network, which I showed earlier. Foursquare was very popular. Facebook has this feature also, right, that you can, when you upload a picture, you can actually say the location, which I think now you can do it in many other platforms also. But the idea is that Facebook has this large user base, which I think is actually very, very impressive in that sense, number of users that are on these platforms. So this is one of the initial set of pages that were created on Facebook. I'm guessing if you have not already watched this, please go watch the movie called Social Network, which talks about how the idea of Facebook came out, what did Mark Zuckerberg and his friends try doing to create the network. Twitter is short text, right? So 280 characters used on these platforms. On this platform, you have to kind of say whatever you want to say on this platform within the 280 characters. That's why more so the hashtags became very popular, because you can start saying many things within the hashtag rather than writing what you wanted to say in a phrase or something. For example, I used to use earlier, loving my faculty life, something like that. I was saying earlier when I do some posts. Then I started moving from there to Prof. Giri. Essentially, that's what meaning Prof. Giri. Right? If you look at this hashtag, you'll see many of the things what I do as a professor will show up. The idea is that, look, I want to capture many things. Instead of using this long text, I want to say it in a small text, small number of characters, right? That's where Twitter becomes very, very, Twitter has become very popular because of short text saying many things. And then also the way that the content is spreading is also very, very fast in terms of Twitter. There have been studies which shows that the content on Twitter spreads much faster than many other ways of spreading of a news. Right? Twitter. So I'm assuming that many of you are following what's going on with Twitter, with Elon Musk taking. So this slide is to show that, look, there is some super relevant thing that goes on for a course like this. where currently Elon Musk is trying to do a lot of changes in the platform, thinking about bots, thinking about fake news, thinking about verified handles. All of this is going on as we speak. So it may be interesting for you to look at these type of changes that are happening in the network also as we do this course. Hopefully by end of this course, by end of this semester, you will see a lot of changes in Twitter, so we can actually talk about those changes also. Coup is very regional. The idea in Coup is to create hyperlocal communities, which is, let's say, community of people who are interested in writing, let's take, all right? So can you actually generate these networks, but networks at a, so to say, regional language level, right? These platform, Coup is designed for Indian audience. And now recently they have started doing it in Brazil also. LinkedIn is a very professional network. I tried taking my own profile page so you can actually see many things. So for example here, this is network, number of connections that I have. As I said, LinkedIn is more of professional activities, so job, this is messaging, notification, and this is profile. And this is some user who did a post. and of course it has all the likes, shares. Recently, I think LinkedIn changed the share to repost, right? All of these changes also happen as we actually go through this course also. Same thing, very similar in Coup also. If you see feed, explore, what are the, I mean, explore will just show you what's going on generally, right? And then you can change your language. These are different sort of communities on the platform. YouTube. YouTube again is base content is a video, but you can actually generate, you can have subscribers for your channel, you can have people can like, people can comment, all of that can go on a video. So YouTube also has the shorts now, which is basically short videos, which are getting extremely popular. If you just look at the number of, views for these shorts, right? Right, so this is 56 million, 6.8 million, 7.8 million, 12 million, some cute short, all right. So shorts have become also very popular. I think these ideas of stories, status messages, is how most of these platforms are moving towards. And these content sometimes are also very short-lived in that sense, right? Ephemeral, very, very short time, and then they die. Meaning I have so many people that I follow on Insta, or they follow me on Insta, where when I go look at their profile, they have not even posted a single post. In my case, I do all the posts. I've seen people who have never done a single post but having more followers than what I have on Insta, because they do all these stories and then they get people follow them because they generate a lot of stories, possibly also interesting stories. Pinterest is a platform that, as I said before, it's based on images, based on pictures that you can upload, but the idea is that you can also upload it on these whiteboards. Communities can be generated. If I have an interest on cricket, pictures, photography, wildlife, you can generate all these whiteboards, groups, and you can create content and share with those community the content that you're generating. Yeah, again, has all of these. So the idea is also this pins is the fundamental idea, like in Twitter, right? So these platforms again were popular at some point in time. They have a large number of users, but I don't know how many of you actually use Pinterest. Insta, I think, is probably the most popular platform among the users. We should probably do a survey of students taking this class to see how many users, how many students in this class use what platform, and what is kind of the distribution of the class itself. Actually, that will be interesting to see. So Insta is again images that you upload, stories that you can upload, again, like, share. There's also messaging. All of that could be done on Insta. Given that we have seen some platforms, the other platforms we can go a little faster because the majority of the constructs are actually same. Right, so this again is like, comment, and share on your story feed, and then this is messaging. Right? Reels, again, videos. So this is again the one which says no both the cameras being used, creating a video, no filters, no likes, no followers, no ads, just your friends for real. That's the tagline for this network. But the idea is to create videos, share with your friends, all that. Snapchat. I think Snapchat has become extremely popular because of its filters. I mean, Snapchat actually at some point in time, if you think about it, it's not even a social network company. It's actually a camera company, which is just done so much of innovation in using the camera. I mean, I remember at some point in time, I even saw, probably it is popular even now, or people use it. They have even glasses where you can just tap and then it'll take a picture. It'll just post it on Snapchat directly. Right? Share chat, very, very similar constructs, which is content, image, hashtags, everything, but very regional for share chat. Again, topics, languages, right? Very, very local. Reddit. Again, Reddit is pseudonymous, so you can actually be, I don't have to be as PK on Reddit, but I'll probably be as, let's take CS Prof or something like that. This is derived, the way it works is everything is created in subreddits. So for example, Big Boss is a subreddit here, where you go there and then you talk about Big Boss, right? Business School is a subreddit here. Cricket could be a subreddit. Fake news could be. So we have actually done a lot of studies on Reddit's subreddits and seen how content is generated. How can you use this content for something useful? Right, subreddits, again, create content. Reddit is also popular for doing AMAs, right? Ask me anything. I mean, I remember at some point in time, Obama did a Ask Me Anything on Reddit. People post questions, and Obama was answering the questions as people were posting. Quora is a very question-answer based social network. I'm sure many of you have already used Quora. For example, you may have questions about the BS program, so you must have asked on Quora, and somebody could have answered the question. I'm just taking an example, but this Quora is very, very popular in India. I mean, I see a lot of different topics, but the topics that I get, I'm also part of at some point in time is admissions within India, admissions for grad school, studying computer science, doing research. All of this is a very, very popular topic, at least for the echo chamber that I'm part of. We'll see what an echo chamber is later in the class, but for now, it's basically a network that you are part of, is what you need to know for now. TikTok, Moj, again, videos where people have become like huge celebrities, right? TikTok has created celebrities in huge numbers, right? Number of followers that they have, meaning today, if you see, I'm guessing that some of you may also have thought about it, but I'm also thinking that some of you may have others who know. If you ask people, I have colleagues kids or our friends' kids, when you ask them, oh, what do you want to be when you finish your 12th standard? I've gotten answers like, I want to be a YouTuber. Look at the influence of social media, right? YouTubers have become so big influencers because they see these YouTubers create content, and then they are like extremely popular, millions of views, millions of likes, and they get a chance to meet with celebrities, all that. It's probably influencing people to become YouTubers also. I'm sure TikTok also is in the same league. Let me show you some platform which you may not have heard, but is actually very popular. So Gab is another platform which is actually a platform designed for a particular set of people, right? White supremacist at some point in time was the popular users on Gab. Like 3-4 years before, we did some studies on Gab, which is what is it used for, what kind of users are on Gab. Gab does not have a lot of users, but the users who are there talk about, again, an echo chamber, right? All of them talk about a particular theme, set of topics around it. It was actually very popular even during a shootout in Pittsburgh. There was a synagogue, a temple where the shootout happened, and they found that the person who did the shooting actually did the Gab post sometime before he went to do the shooting. So these social media platforms have also become places where people express, right? We've also seen Facebook live shootings, right? So, Foursquare. Foursquare, the important thing is location. As I said, these are location-based social network. If you see here, Foursquare is a platform where you have users sharing the location that they are at right now. For example, 22 could be a location where somebody checked in. The word here is also check-in at some point in time. 28 may be a check-in at some other point in time. So these are basically places that you go to. For example, you could be, one place should be your home, one place could be your college, one place could be the place that you're meeting your friend, all that, right? So I used to actually use Foursquare or this idea for location-based at some point in time, saying, okay, if you were to be in a network, so I'm doing a post about traveling to another city, I would actually add the location in the post so people know that from where I'm actually doing this post. Very location-based, right? Interestingly, they actually created this idea called Mayor, which is in a different color. Check-in, at least visually, that's how this is seen, where Mayor is, you are the person who checked into that location maximum number of times in the last 60 days. Right? So if you become a mayor, there's advantages of being a mayor. You get some discounts in a hotel, discounts in parking in a mall, all of that. Monetization of this has been built separately, but the idea for mayorship is that you are the most frequent users at that point in time in the last 60 days in that location. Periscope. Periscope is again a short video uploads. So next one is also, Periscope is a short video platform like our Shorts right now. Tinder, you already know. Right swipe and left swipe is how, and then it has this matching of people. It has chat facility, all of that. Right, so meet real people. Very theme of trying to create more connections, trying to create sort of say meet people is the idea in the Bumble network also. Whisper is slightly very different, which is a anonymous social network where the content is getting generated is fully anonymous. You don't know who is posting. Whisper also used to have this idea called where the content that you want to generate is actually put on a random image with a random font, so it's actually very hard to search for it. And the content is getting generated with anonymous accounts, so it's actually hard to find out who did the post also. If you were to look at different types of networks, online social network, location-based social network, ephemeral social network, anonymous social network. Online social network would be Facebook, Twitter. Location-based social network would be Foursquare. Ephemeral social network could be Snapchat. Anonymous social network could be Whisper. Right? So that's how I would look at different networks. Right? So give you again large number of users are on actually Facebook, which is world's most used social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Insta, TikTok, Telegram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Reddit. Right. So that's in terms of just the number of users. This slide will tell you why people are actually using these platforms. Of course, all of them primarily use it for staying in touch with people, filling spare time, reading news stories. As I said before, it could be that the social media platforms itself has become a place where reading news is done, and therefore news platforms don't get more hits, traffic, finding content, seeing what's being talked about, finding inspiration for things to do and buy, right? All of that happens. I'll let you go through the list fully. So what I'll stop, I will stop here for part 2 for week 1. If you have any questions, again, feel free to ask in the chat. But the idea for the week 1 part 2 is to show you what a social network is, what are the different constructs in a social network, what different platforms exist, and give a whirlwind tour of these different platforms. I'll stop here. Thank you.